We at VMX Fitness are dedicated to fitness excellence and community engagement. Our mission is to inspire you and support all members and athletes to reach peak performance, which is why we have started this new episode and new session, Thrive On, which is just an extension of Thrive sessions that we have in-house. Today, we're bringing you an absolute powerhouse of an episode. We're bringing you not one, but two champions, Mr. and Mrs. East Africa bodybuilding competition that took place just this last Saturday at Sarit Center Expo Center. We have Philip Guya, who won the classic men's physique category and second place in the heavyweight category. And we have Karen Mulyanga, who won the female wellness category. Now, these legends didn't just wake up looking like superheroes with action figure bodies. They put in sweat and tears, and we hope today they will share with us just how they got through that and their highs and their lows, in the hope that that will motivate you not just to follow your dreams, but also to reach your goals. Welcome. I am over the moon to have you sitting here with me today, because I was fortunate enough to present you with second position for the heavyweight category.
Yeah, I remember that.
And I was there throughout the competition, and when you won classic physique champion. It was incredible. Thank you so much for your time.
No, my pleasure.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
How have the last few days been for you?
A bit overwhelming, but it's a good kind of feeling. I've had a lot of congratulations from all around the place.
I'm sure.
Not just from here. Yeah.
Online and everything, and everybody that was there was just so excited.
Yeah, it was really good.
It was an epic night. It was my first bodybuilding competition.
Is it?
And I didn't know what to expect, but it was more than I dreamt of. Yeah,
Okay.
so I can only imagine that for you, it was a fantastic night.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun. It was nice to get back up on stage. I hadn't been on stage for some time, so it was about 2 years since I was on stage. So
Okay.
I had a lot of fun.
So
I missed that feeling.
I was going to ask you. So
Yeah.
let's start from the beginning.
Sure.
So what inspired you to start your bodybuilding journey, and really, how did you evolve from bodybuilding to competing?
So initially, it all started with, so my whole life I've always been an athlete, right? I played basketball growing up, a little bit of American football, but that was in England.
Yes.
And then when that was done, I mean, what else do you do? So I wanted to stay in shape. So I started being more in the gym, and one thing led to another. You start liking how you look. Then you start liking the feeling of getting stronger. Start liking the challenge.
Yeah.
Start getting bigger muscles. Before you know it, you're like thinking, maybe I should do a show, right?
Right.
So about
So when was
2018.
your first show?
2018, I did Mr. Kenya.
Okay.
Yeah, still, I remember I weighed like 92 kgs there, 93. So it was my first show. I showed up after like maybe 6 weeks of preparing for it.
Okay, so in 6 weeks, you decided
I just
to
just signed up and like, you know what, it was
Let's see.
let's see, because you kind of want to feel fulfilled from something, at least from all this that you're doing. And you know what I mean, when you challenge yourself and when you do something that puts you out of your comfort zone, you kind of feel fulfilled. So I did that, and I have no regrets. I stepped on the gas ever since.
And
So-
what was it? Somebody in particular that encouraged you, or you just, you knew there was a Kenya competition taking place, and you thought, oh, let's see how this goes.
Well, I remember the year. It was a difficult year I was having that year, right? So, and I just wanted to top it off with a win. So before, like 2 months before the competition, I was like, you know what? Let's make the year even harder. So
Might as well.
Yeah,
Seeing as it's difficult as it is.
Yeah,
I mean, that's unique though, because when people are having a tough year, normally they don't seek even more of a challenge.
Yeah.
And I think that says a lot about you. And also the sport in itself. So what does your daily training routine look like when you're preparing for competition?
Okay. So when I'm preparing for competition, so I think any bodybuilder will tell you right now that you're a lot slower in your
Okay.
movements when you're
Right.
preparing for competition because your energy
Focused or energy?
energy is low. So
Right.
the only time you have energy and you're fast is when you're training.
Yes.
So I wake up and I wake up, maybe do a bit of meditation, then head for cardio
Okay.
for about a 40-minute cardio. Then have breakfast, about 2 meals, maybe 3. Train. Now a specific muscle I'm training that day. Then after that at night I would maybe when training I'll also do some posing.
Okay.
Then at night I'll do some posing
Because you
again.
have to actually train
Yeah.
yourself about
But-
how to pose. That's
yeah,
the other
absolutely.
thing, right? You know, I
Yeah.
think a lot of people maybe
Yeah,
misunderstand.
absolutely.
I noticed there that there's a lot of, there's a lot of work that goes into the posing.
Posing.
Yes.
I mean, you can have. It's one thing to have the physique.
Yes.
It's another to display it.
Okay.
So if you don't know how to display the physique, I could outpose you, right? So because you got to bring out your strengths and hide your weaknesses.
And the
Yeah.
judges are marking you on the
What they
muscles
see.
that they see.
Yeah.
Right. So.
Yeah, not who's the biggest guy, not who's trained the hardest, just who looks the best.
Okay.
So it's like who did their makeup the best,
Yeah.
right? So that's
So
pretty
you have
much
to
it.
actually spend a lot of time with
Yeah,
that. Okay, so
yeah.
you train with the you're training, you are working on your posing. Rest.
You try to rest as much as you can. Sleep during the prep is very altered. Sometimes you can have a lot of fatigue. Sometimes sleep kind of goes away.
So you have some insomnia.
Yes, you have a bit of insomnia. I remember waking up. Sometimes I'll set my alarm and I'll wake up 2 hours before the alarm.
Wow.
Right.
Okay.
And yeah, it's quite tough. So, but you try to rest as much as possible. You get a few naps in between the day, and you're mixing that with work. So you have to like you figure it out. You figure it out.
You have to find a balance.
It takes you a while. It might take you a month to find that balance, but during the second month, you have it on dial. As you move slower, you take what took you 30 minutes to do, it will take you add another 15 minutes onto it.
So
Yeah.
about 45 minutes
Yeah,
instead.
yeah.
So how do you stay disciplined? Because I think for a lot of the audience or the people that are watching, discipline is one of the biggest obstacles.
Yeah.
And I think it'd be super interesting to know just how do you stay disciplined?
That's a good question because a lot of it is mindset, right? Because discipline is pretty much doing what you said you'll do when the feeling that you said it in left
When you don't feel like doing
Yeah,
it.
exactly. When you don't feel like doing it. So motivation will get you started
Yeah.
and you say, I'll do this. But when the feeling leaves you, that's when you're like, now you need the discipline.
Yeah.
So you got to keep your mind, you got to pretty much lie to your brain while you're doing this. You got to remind yourself every time. You got to say some affirmations. You've got to, what is it? You've got to repeat things in your head over and over and over and over and just applies into your body. Right.
And it's very hard to deviate perhaps from that because
Yeah,
you have
yeah,
your mental clarity.
yeah, exactly.
That brings me to what role do you feel that mental strength has played in your success so far?
Oh my days.
I think it's something that most people struggle with.
Your body does give up on you, right?
Okay.
But your mind as well will push you forward. So what else you have? It's your mind. Your body will say no. So your brain has to be so powerful. Your mind has to be so powerful to
And that's
to
where you
push
do
you.
the meditation and the affirmations.
Yeah. You've just got to have a hard spot and mindset. Like it's
Do you think it's possible? Do you think it's possible without mental strength to maybe
Absolutely.
Achieve?
Maybe if you got crazy talent and that you can outgo. You don't have pain when you're in your body, but if you're going to feel that pain and you don't have the talent,
Yes.
you'll need the mental strength. Yeah. So that's pretty much it. It's there's no way about it.
There's
man.
no way about it.
There's no way about
Did you face any challenges this time whilst you were preparing for Mr. and Mrs. East Africa? And maybe how did you overcome those? Anything that maybe stands out to you as like, whoa, that was tougher than I expected, or something challenging that happened?
So So this one was pretty. This preparing for this competition was. Every prep has its own challenge, right?
Challenges, depending on where you are in your life, what stage you're
This
at.
time I just tended to be, and I had to make sure those things are being done at the top.
Yeah, because you can't. Life doesn't stop because
Exactly.
you are
Because you're preparing for competition. I mean, you still gotta do other things, right? You got life.
Yeah.
So that was one. Maybe a bit of injury here.
Okay.
I had that. I think I dislocated a finger.
Wow.
I don't even, yeah, slightly, but I pushed through it. I haven't even got it checked.
You haven't got it checked?
But I was like, well, you know what, let's just do this.
Something's-
I mean, I'm good
okay,
now.
you're good.
I'm good now. It feels all right. So I'm like, oh, well, I guess it fixed itself. So,
But that's also, I guess, maybe the mental strength that you're
Yeah,
talking about.
yeah,
That
yeah.
you're focused and you know what.
mental strength is one of those things that very few people have. Very few people can undergo pain and, you know what I mean, and hold
Push
that
through.
pain for as long as possible.
Yeah.
Right? There's a saying that goes, sweat more in training, bleed less in war. Right? So
Say that again.
sweat more in training,
Yes.
bleed less in war. Right?
And then Saturday was war.
That was war,
It was
right?
war.
And you know you're gonna
The
bleed,
athletes
right?
that were there
Yeah.
were in incredible
Yeah.
shape.
And it always shows who sweated most in training, because whoever bled, yeah,
Yeah.
thank you. Whoever bled least is the one who had sweated the most in training.
In training. And the chat, so you had some personal challenges that maybe affected how much you could focus on your training, but you still managed to push through
Absolutely.
that. And your view of yourself. Those are two parts.
Yeah. How it's impacted my life, I'd say from a status symbol, it's allowed me to get in rooms that would
You
have
might
been, yeah.
not otherwise have.
I've been able to access places that that if I didn't have the,
Physique?
yeah, to humbly put it that
Sorry,
way,
the classic physique?
the classic physique.
Champion classic physique?
Yeah, so I've been able to get through some doors easily. Sometimes I don't get security checked, so
Yeah.
that's how it.
Because they're intimidated,
Yeah.
I can understand.
The one thing that the one thing that I'd say it's really changed is I've been able to inspire kids. I think that's the one that gets me every time, because when a 12-year-old, 10-year-old, 15-year-old boy comes to you and be like, hey, what's up, how you doing? They want to have a conversation with you randomly
Yes.
at the grocery store, or when you're just at a parking or something like that, then that's what's I mean that's the biggest pleasure you get.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Inspirational,
Yeah.
motivating, particularly to young people who I think, in this day and age, I know probably when we were growing up, you didn't have the pressures that you have now. So for young people coming up, I imagine that the world is very rushed. But
Yeah.
there's also a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
So it's great to have role models like yourself present,
Absolutely.
and physically present.
Absolutely.
And to see something that requires discipline
Yeah.
and dedication.
Yeah,
strength.
especially in a world of today where you've got so many distractions. Kids got from every corner. You got video games. You got all
And
these
there are no
things. So,
shortcuts. There are no shortcuts to bodybuilding. I guess
Absolutely.
that's the other
Yeah,
thing. You
yeah.
have to put in the work,
Right.
or there is, no matter what way, you still have to
Put in the work. I mean, you could have surgery, but I don't know how far that's
I
going to
don't
take
know.
you.
I mean, maybe I've seen that you can have pain implants and things, but maybe not to still not to win classic physique.
not to win
category,
classic physique. Yeah.
What about your view of yourself? Has bodybuilding changed your view of yourself?
You know, every time you do my discipline is, it's challenged my discipline level, right? My pain threshold. You kind of respect yourself more
Yes.
when you're more disciplined, right? You kind of owe it. They say the biggest form of self-love is discipline, right? If you're disciplined, you pretty much you're showing love to yourself, right? To make it sound all mushy and
Sure, that's what the Stoics
Right.
said.
Yeah,
They said
so-
that discipline is key.
So that's what I'd say bodybuilding has done. That discipline, that pain with that discipline has made me view myself as a way I can you know what I mean, you can appreciate yourself a bit
As a
more.
winner.
Yeah.
Champion.
Yeah. Well.
So what advice would you, and it's, it doesn't have to be detailed, but it's just, for a young person, let's say the 8-year-old boy that you mentioned who approaches you in the grocery store.
Okay.
Oh, I'd love to get into bodybuilding or
Really?
strength training. Do you think I should strength train? What advice would you say? Just one thing that maybe.
I'll say 50 push-ups every day, boy.
Yeah?
Right.
Okay.
You get 50 push-ups every day. I call it 50 the best.
Yeah.
50 push-ups, 50 burpees, and 50 sit-ups. Do that every day, and you're on a
It's a
good
good
path.
place to
Right.
start.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any setbacks through this, other than your finger? Anything else that you faced?
Well,
I think you
where do I
answered
start?
that, didn't you?
Yeah.
Because you mentioned, that your lifestyle affected how much you could focus.
Yeah.
So maybe let's move on to this competition this year. You won men's heavyweight category.
I got second.
Second,
Yeah.
and you won classic physique.
Yeah.
What does winning this competition mean to you? And what are your next goals?
So what it meant for me here was, being a Mr. East Africa Championship is something. My goal was to pretty much hold it, bring the crown back to
Back home.
to 254. Pretty much anyone who appreciates bodybuilding.
Yes.
Right. That was my main goal. I didn't really want too much of the fame and all that. I just needed the respect, right? And secondly, what do I have going
What are your
forward?
next goals?
Well, I'm set to do a few competitions. We're just in talks of doing some competitions in pro qualifiers in Europe,
Okay.
possibly Romania and Czech Republic, and possibly Portugal as well. So in the classic physique category.
Amazing.
So that's what I'm now preparing for.
So we have to watch this space.
Yeah.
This is where you'll hear first.
Absolutely.
We wish you all the best.
I appreciate that.
I think that one of the things that struck me at the competition was just how incredible the bodybuilding community was.
Yeah.
And it was my first competition. I'm not aware if it's the fact that the Mr. and Mrs. Bodybuilding competition team, shout out to them, they were incredible in what they managed to create on this occasion. This is the third edition. I believe it's the biggest so far.
Yeah, it's the biggest so
but
far.
how do you see the bodybuilding community? Does that contribute to your success, or are you very focused as an individual? And what part do you think community plays?
So the amount of people that are behind me and just show support,
Yes.
that's been a big part of that's been a big part of how the community has just been very helpful. The amount of calls I get, random calls I get from people in the bodybuilding community, the guys who are at least a big name, Richard being one of them. Shout out to Richard.
Richard Guital.
Richard was actually a very big part of my prep. He used to check on me like almost every week.
Oh, that's
Like, bro, are you dead?
Yeah,
I'm like, yeah, I'm dying, but I'm good, man.
Well, I've seen you at Rex training with him and a few others.
Yeah. So shout out to him. He's been quite helpful. Anthony Gashao, he's makes noise online, but he's a very good, kind-hearted guy. We've got the legends who were Mr. Kenyans back in the day and competed in Mr. Universe. I've got that guy on my right-hand pocket. He's a phone call away, and I can reach him almost even at the midnight. Yeah. Shout out to Leander, Mr. Kenya, 3-time. And the community here is amazing. I couldn't be more grateful for what we have. I think the Kenyan bodybuilding community might be one of the best.
Oh, really?
Because everyone support each other. There's no bad blood really. There's everyone. If I could compete against you, go ahead and head at you. Even trash talk to you, but at the end of the day, I'm hugging it out with you. I really like what we got going on here.
No, that's amazing because I think maybe that's what I saw. I was fortunate enough to witness just how close everybody seemed to be, even though they were competing.
Absolutely, yeah.
So, final question. It's something I want to ask everybody that we speak to. It's not bodybuilding related.
Okay.
If there's one skill you wish you had, what would that be? and why? Could be anything.
Skill.
Skill as you define
Do you
it.
mean a superpower or a skill?
It could be either. It could be a
Okay.
skill, it could be a superpower, just one thing that you, as Philip, thinks that would be great.
I thought about time travel, but
Yeah, teleport.
yeah,
Oh, that's what Karen said.
But I mean, time travel is an easy. Sorry, Karen. But I'll say
It could be anything. It could be a hobby that you wish you had time to get into, but you don't.
okay. If it's a superpower, my favorite superhero is Batman. So if I could have just the reason why Batman is my favorite superhero.
Yeah, I was about to ask, why Batman?
I mean, out of all the superheroes that you know, he is the most disciplined.
Okay.
He's the most crafty. He can see 5 steps ahead. He sees like on a chess table. He can 8 moves ahead. He can see.
Yeah, actually, now you say that,
yeah.
I think.
Yeah, so that's why maybe I can say if wisdom is a word,
Yeah.
if wisdom or hard intelligence, because I've seen as much as I like muscle,
Yes.
brain beats muscle. I think Iron Man beat Hulk. So
Okay.
right.
Oh, that's a great one. Okay, so
So I'll say what is it? So what can we call it?
you could
So
call it
let's call it ultra discipline.
okay.
Yeah.
Ultra disciplined.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think you have that though. I don't know. You've kind of described that you are.
Well, there's
need
always we
another
need another
level,
notch.
another
Yeah.
level.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Well, thank you so much.
I appreciate it.
I am so happy that you made time for us today.
Thanks for having
I'm
me.
honored. I was honored to watch you the other weekend, and I'm super pleased. I cannot wait. We all can't wait to see what the future holds. Best of luck in the future.
Thank you.
Keep us posted. We'll
sure.
be watching online.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Thank
All right,
you.
awesome.